There are rumors going around about some old abandoned silo that had loomed over the woods. The woods were located in the middle of a field of just dirt alongside the railroad tracks. Not like anyone cares. It's an eerie sight with just, sitting there looming over the woods with rust trailing down their sides. Anyways, I rumored it to be haunted by some old farmer who hung himself in the silo and takes his revenge on anyone who enters. I say this rumor is complete bullshit, especially when the one spreading the rumor tries to back out with the story of some stupid kids who were curious and went into the silo, never to come back out. I would say that the silo is just a good hangout spot where people would never find them. So with both positive and negative comments, my geek band of friends and I decided to check it out. We decided to enhance the creepiness by choosing to visit the silo on a gloomy and cloudy day. So the day came, and my friends, Pete, Meg, and Wes, met at my house since it was alongside the railway. We walked along the railway talking and laughing, having ourselves a good time until we saw it. The silo was, of course, just sitting there, looming tall over the trees. Curious, we walked towards it as our laughter, along with our talking, died down. The closer we got to it, the colder it felt, as if there was some sort of cold, dark aura radiating it, sending shivers down our spines. Hell, Wes even let out a small little yelp. We paced around the circumference of the silo looking for an entrance of some sort. We ended up finding a ladder leading up to the silo. The rungs of the ladder were also handles to open the hatches all along the side of the structure. All were locked except for one. Though it was stuck, so we had Pete climb up and open the hatch, and within a few minutes we were inside the silo, standing on the hay left in there. In the center there was a large hole deep in the hay. It was dark, but we could hear a steady flow of air coming from the bottom. Oddly enough, there was a rope descending into the hole. Since I was the only one smart enough to actually be prepared for this, I took out my flashlight. Holding the flashlight in my mouth, I began to descend. I dropped to the bottom, scanning the small area. Everything seemed safe as I looked at the scattered hay, dirt, and also another peculiar hatch. I beckoned for the others to come down. As I descended, my eye had caught something covering the rope. The color of it was red. I hid my panic and showed the others the hatch I had found. Pete opened it, revealing a dark hole. Now the fucked up thing about that was it reeked. It reeked of death. The others had sensed it too, and of course Wes had whimpered like a little bitch. Meg ended up getting the courage to take my flashlight and go first into the hole. We followed her, and we walked through this dark tunnel for about 10 to 15 minutes, until Meg had told us we had reached another hatch, and she opened it. A bright light had filled the tunnel, and that's when we heard it. A piercing shriek followed by the sounds of something running, panting hard. And in a desperate attempt to avoid the creature that had made the horrific shriek, we ran. Once we were out of the tunnel, we slammed the hatch shut, attempting to lock it. The sound had stopped, and a breathing sigh of relief, all of us had observed our current surroundings. We were in a concrete block, which appeared to be an old septic tank, but with an opening at the top, and through that opening we could see the forest above. We began to climb out, and then it happened. Again, we heard that damn sound again. Wes wasn't even out of the hole. Poor Wes. This creature slammed through the hatch, and a sharp, clawed hand reached out and grasped Wes's leg tight, pulling him into the tunnel. We heard his terrified screams, and then suddenly, it stopped. We heard the sharp snapping of bones and the tearing of flesh. The rest of us were frozen in shock. The sound of Wes being killed was revolting. Meg ended up vomiting at the sound. After that, we tried to find our way out of the thicket. We searched for a way out for at least an hour, but we concluded that the forest was enclosed in a large perimeter of barbed wire fencing. We panicked, having no idea what we should do, and also realizing that this thing comes out in the dark. Night was coming fast, and in a desperate panic, Meg climbed high into a tree, hoping the thing wouldn't find her. Pete found a small hole in the ground to hide in. which was a bad idea. Again, we heard the shriek, and I watched the thing climb out of its home or nest. In my panic, I quickly climbed up a tree, and I watched Pete sitting in the hole. I also, to my regret, had a better look at the creature we were facing. God, it was the most grotesque thing I've ever seen. Its face was mask-like, a pale white against its dark skin. The face seemed to only have 2 dark holes for eyes, and a large smile stretched across the face. After a few minutes of observation, I had soon noticed that it was a mask. A mask that was made from Wes's skinned face. I was scared shitless as the thing was crawling towards Pete. I sat in the tree and I watched Pete run in fear, but that was no use as the thing caught up to him instantly. It shoved both hands through Pete's chest and tore him apart with ease. Oh God! Its chest opened up, revealing bloody tendrils that wrapped around Pete's head, tearing it off from its mutilated corpse, slowly pulling it into the empty cavity and sealed it shut. The skin face of Wes had disintegrated and quickly replaced with a mask made from Pete, as the same hollowed eyes and screwed up smile. Then it spoke in a raspy voice. I am the pocket. It proceeded to crawl back to its dwelling. From the other tree I heard Meg crying. I beckoned for her to climb down. As I climbed down myself, and I told her we were getting the hell out of this place. Alive. Hesitantly she climbed down, and I went to the barbed wire fence and gripped the sharp wire, spreading it wide enough for someone to climb through. My hands bled, but I ignored the pain as Meg climbed through the opening. Again, the pocket shrieked, and in my panic, I hastily crawled through the opening and cut myself up bad. Bleeding, I ran with Meg and ignored the pain, running until we had reached civilization once again. 10 years had passed. Meg and I were happily married. I say were for a reason. The same reason why I'm telling you this story today. Meg is dead. She died a horrible death. So horrible. The police were called to the scene after a couple going for a walk through the woods found her mutilated, headless corpse laying at the edge of the woods. When I say the word edge, that means that it is far from the barbed wire fence. This could only mean that the pocket is free from its prison. It's free, and it's coming straight for me. I know it is. This is horrible. Right now, I'm looking at our marriage picture, trying to calm myself down with the happy memories. It didn't help, because in the reflection of the glass, I saw a face slowly coming towards me. Meg's face, only it was eyeless, and had that damn fucked up smile. The pocket, it's here, and it has come to take me. Right now, I feel its hand pierce through my chest. At this moment, I realize its prime motive. It killed to be free. To free people from the hell that now exists in this world. And I earned the privilege to be freed. I smile.